another episode of Hidden in Universal Vault. I'm Ryan, your host. Now, don't mind me, there's a door behind me. So, I kind of want to bring that up to let you know that, yes, my door needs to be repaired. But we're not going to dwell on that. We're going to keep the Universal train rolling and talk about tonight's film, 1996, Dragonheart. This is a fantasy sword and sorcery film, but actually more line of fantasy. This was directed by Rob Cohen, who I covered the original Fast and Furious and Skulls on my channel. This is his second film as a director for the studio. His previous film and his first directing debut was 1993's Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. So coming from the heels of Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, comes Dragonheart. I think he was also working, his next movie after this would be Sylvester Stallone's Daylight. So, I'm going to talk about this now. This movie is a near masterpiece. The movie stars Dennis Quaid. It also features Sean Connery voicing the main dragon, Draco. Yeah, Draco. So, it starts out with Dennis Quaid's character, I want to say Bowen is his character's name? In addition to Dennis Quaid and Sean Connery in the cast, we get Julia Christie and Pete Postlethwaite in this installment. Well, in this film. And I'm watching this off of another collection, which is the Dragonheart, the franchise collection Dragonheart 2 Legendary Tales set. Look at that artwork. That is amazing. I'm going to talk about the biggest problem with the set after I talk about the film. So basically, Dennis Quaid is this young sort of dragon slayer. It takes place in 985 AD, is where this movie takes place. So, he's trained this guy, there's a big battle, and all of a sudden, his former assistant got punctured by spikes because of some dumbass girl just pushed him aside, and he's an idiot who just lands and hits him with the spike. So, he basically, what it is he's just, there's going to be a storm outside, so I do apologize if you can kind of hear that. I'll be right back. I'm going to kind of cut this out. Alright, I'm back, guys. I just had to shut my window a little bit. So back to what I was saying. So, he's trained as a young guy, he gets hit with spikes, he's not cured, and he's almost about ready to die. So, they get into this lair with this unknown dragon. They don't know who his name is. Sean Connery voices the main guy, so we don't know who he is, but he actually cures him. But he has part of the dragon's heart, hence the title Dragonheart. I was watching the film like, oh yeah, that's why they call it Dragonheart. It's kind of creative, though. And, like I said again, I'm not a big fan of these sort of sword and sorcery fantasy type-ish genre. It was never a genre I loved. The closest thing to a sword and sorcery film I liked was The Black Cauldron. But that was more in the line of a Disney classic. More than something like this, which is just more in line. I just never understand the whole medieval aspect in this film. So, but that doesn't draw away from a near masterpiece that this is. So we get 15 years later, and Quaid's character meets another guy, Pete Postlethwaite, who's riding on a mule. He's sort of the comic relief, but basically he's there to help him stop this dragon. So, Quaid and the dragon basically bond and became best friends, sort of like how E.T., and some critics will consider this sort of like a medieval version of E.T., where it's unknown and sure, I guess. But again, that's apples and oranges. You can't really compare something like a family film going up against a sort of PG-13 sword and sorcery. This movie is a PG-13 film, and there is some pretty rough violence. They're almost as close as R-rated violence. So I just want to let you know. So, he comes back with this. He launches a big old spear at him. He's like, you think he's going to get it, but he puts it under his armpit, and he just basically flies down, throws the spear, jumps right into the water, and the townsfolk believe him. So, yeah. I don't really know much about what I think of the film. I think the scenery is great. Cinematography is great. The costume design was actually done by Anna Shepard. She was the costume designer on Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List. So these are top-rate costume, and wow. Rob Cohen's great. It was actually directed by Raphael De Laurentiis, another, I think might be related to Dino De Laurentiis. I'm not sure, but the De Laurentiis is our big movie producer. So it was produced by that De Laurentiis, and everything is great. The choreography is great. They actually got a Japanese sword fighter to actually do some of the fighting and choreography of the swords, because the fight choreography is really good in this. All around, everything is good, but I'm going to go through my only complaints with the film. Let's talk about 2 complaints. One, Dennis Quaid. Honestly, Dennis Quaid doesn't do a great job. Here's the problem. Dennis Quaid does a pretty bad British accent. He's supposed to play some guy British, but he's an American speaking in a British voice. Keep in mind, the whole entire cast is British. I think Pete Postlethwaite is. The late Pete Postlethwaite. But yeah. Yeah, and that's my only complaint. The big complaint I have is some of the effects look really, really bad. They blend the CG effects along with practical effects. So, and basically, before I go on, they talk about the sky and the stars, and then they come up with the name Draco for him, and which is known as a comet up there. And that's good. There are some really good touching moments between him and the dragon, but when it comes to stuff with the dragon, it is a bit dated. It's kind of like playing an early 3D PlayStation game. There's a PlayStation game based on this, but I felt it kind of had that sort of MS-DOS, that early 90s MS-DOS, and early PlayStation graphics. We're talking like really bad CG graphics. There's some scenes where Draco's flying, he shoots a fireball. The fireball looks really bad, so he shoots it onto the grass, and then you see the practical effects. The practical effects is really good. They spent tens and thousands of dollars in this, and for a 1996 movie, the practical effects look really good. The CG and the dragon just, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say this right now, the CG on dragon looks like shit. But that's personally me. Probably because technology got much better with computers. I feel for 1996 they don't look great. They just look really awful. So I'm gonna have to fault it for that. I said near masterpiece. If they would have went with with practical effects on the dragon, this would have been a masterpiece. But as of now, it's a near masterpiece with this film. So, excuse me, I have a little bit of sore throat, so I do apologize. So, yeah, that's what it is. There actually is a sequel called, sort of a sequel, more of a reboot, called Dragonheart: A New Beginning, which came out in 2001. I don't know if I'm going to cover that. If I do, we'll save that for a later time. But I kind of wanted to talk about Dragonheart. But I'm going to talk about the DVD. This is actually an old DVD from 2000. The only difference is previews. There actually is previews. Other than that, it's the same printing, same special features, same everything. You're getting the exact same previews. So if you pick up the set, you're getting the previews. Basically, you're getting the same previews as another franchise collection set. And that would be the Problem Child Tantrum Pack. All the same previews from that Problem Child Tantrum Pack are ported over to this. But that's not the big problem with this. Oh wait, never mind, there is no problem. Never mind, I thought they were all on one disc. There is no problem. You have to flip both movies. I forgot this was a flipper disc. So what I said had nothing to do with that. Basically, if you want to watch the second film, you just gotta flip the disc. So ignore what I said about that. But yeah, yeah, there you go. So, anyways, let's just take a look one more time. Bask in that glorified artwork. I actually like this better than the old release. The old release is poster art. And on the back we get 2 still images from Dragonheart, 1 still image from this really bad still image. For seeing that still image, I don't know if I'm going to cover this. But yeah, they dimmed down the rating. And there are more Dragonheart movies. I'm going to watch A New Beginning. If it's bad, I'm going to keep this set because it has all of them. It has the previews and it has the first movie. So anyways, let's talk about special features because I did watch a few of the special features. We get a teaser trailer. We get archive outtakes. I didn't watch the outtakes. I did watch TV spots. This is one of the few sets that includes TV spots. We also have theatrical trailer, commentary by Rob Cohen, and the one I watched was the making of Dragonheart. Basically what these guys did was they took the Jurassic Park dinosaurs and they altered to look like dragons. I think that's really cool. So I did watch some of the featurettes. The cast was good, the acting was good, everything about it was awesome. I think in terms of performances, this might be Dennis Quaid's best performance. And including that, I'd probably say this and The Express, which I have The Express, are some of Dennis Quaid's best performance. You could tell he really did a good job. But when he's doing that British accent, it seems a bit off. I just don't think... I have a problem when Americans try and do British accents. Similar to Clive Owens in the Crime Stories Clinton special for FX, where he was a guy from England playing a guy from Arkansas. And it just does not work. But if you can ignore that, Dragonheart's a very fun movie. So, I think I mentioned a lot of this. I like how it says on the back, join Dennis Quaid, Academy Award winner Sean Connery. The 2 main stars, I'm not going to tell who the 2 main stars add to review the film. In this fantasy adventure, that will thrill the entire family. Dragonheart is not a family movie. Kids might be a little bit more terrified in this. Basically, like I said again, I really, really like the movie. It's a near masterpiece. Performance is great, cinematography is great, everything is good. The CG on the dragon, Draco, is a little bit off. I'm hoping the dragon in the sequel might be better, but it might be worse. From seeing that artwork, seeing that still image, I don't know if I'm going to cover A New Beginning, but I do have the set, so it will get covered later on the channel. So, it is a flipper disc. I'm just going to show you this because there's not much on the back. So if you wanted to go to Dragonheart New Beginning, you can simply just flip the disc. But I'm fine with that. Because I got both movies, though. And actually, to be honest, I had this movie on VHS, but I wanted to get it on DVD just to have it on DVD. But I love this artwork. If I do get these movies on Blu-ray, maybe, or get that whole set, I'm going to hold on to this because I like this artwork release and all the good stuff. Now that I talked about that, I think you probably already know. Let's move on to the final verdict. Well, it's a little hot right now, but let's move on to the final verdict. Final verdict. Should you see Dragonheart? Yes. If you ignore the CG on the dragon, Dragonheart is a ton of fun. The ending, although another problem I had was the ending just ends. So it had an abrupt ending. They didn't explain how that happened, but it's kind of a heartwarming end to, I believe, should have never made sequels. Honestly, the first movie ended fine. Did we need a sequel? But no, we got to continue the series, just like many other Universal series. There are now 5 movies to this series. 5. I think I actually had this on recorded VHS. I just never got around to watching it as a kid. And I had it on VHS, and like I said, I had on VHS, want to replace that VHS with a DVD copy of the film. So, yeah, Dragonheart, I can recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun. If you can ignore the CG on the dragon, this movie is a near masterpiece. If the CG wasn't horrible, it was done by Industrial Light and Magic, And again, I've covered a lot of films with Industrial Light and Magic, and their CG isn't very good. So honestly, yeah, some of it looks a little tacky, especially on Draco. So yeah, I'm going to stop right there. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Go watch Dragonheart. Rob Cohen did a pretty good job with this. So far, every movie I've covered from director Rob Cohen has been good. I plan to cover more from his stuff. I want to cover Dragon. I came close to grabbing Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, but I ended up passing because the copy I got had to scratch this. So I'm at two bars on my battery, so I'm going to stop right there. Thank you again for watching, you guys. You know all that jazz. You can follow me on Twitter at Dragonheart14. I promise I'll get to post some more stuff. I just posted the episode. I just posted match number 5 on my channel. So if you guys want to check that out, it'll be available on that channel as well. So go out and vote, guys. Vote for those 2 movies. I'm not telling you what it is. You got to watch the video. But until then, come back tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, so come back tomorrow. I thought I was going to go to a concert, but I realized, no, I'm home. I'm going to watch a movie tonight. So yeah, I do apologize if I'm sweating. It's been a really hot summer lately. But yeah, again, if this was a masterpiece, this movie would be on my top list. It might be on my top list, but you're going to have to find out when that comes next year. So, like I said again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.